When you chase someone, whether it's their attention, their affection, or their validation, you put yourself in chains. Chasing always comes from a place of lack. It is you telling yourself, I am incomplete until this person sees me. I am not enough unless this person accepts me. But the Stoics warned us against this illusion. Marcus Aurelius said, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. And yet too often we forget this truth. We hand over our peace of mind to people who do not deserve it. Chasing turns love into desperation. It turns friendship into begging. It turns connection into slavery. When you chase, you signal to the world that your value depends on another person's approval. And here is the paradox. The more you chase, the less they value you. Why? Because human beings rarely treasure what comes too easily. Attention given freely without boundaries loses its weight. Words spoken endlessly to prove your worth lose their impact. The Stoics believed in living with dignity, not desperation. To them, every man and woman carried within themselves the ability to be self-sufficient. Chasing blinds you to this truth. Instead of building your strength, you exhaust it. Instead of cultivating your own garden, you water someone else's soil while your own starves. The trap of chasing is not only external, it poisons your mind. You lose sleep thinking about their reply. You check your phone every hour. You sacrifice your goals to impress them. You become restless, anxious, drained. But here's the reality. No matter how much you chase, you cannot control how others see you. Epictetus said it best, some things are up to us and some are not. Their opinion of you is not up to you. Their attention is not up to you. The only thing you control is your own character, your own discipline, your own response. The moment you realize this, you break the chains. You stop wasting energy on people who do not see your worth. You stop trying to force a place in someone's life. And when you stop chasing, something shifts. Suddenly, the power returns to you. Your silence becomes louder than your words. Your absence becomes heavier than your presence ever was. And slowly, those who ignored you begin to notice. The Stoics knew that desperation is weakness, and weakness repels. But calmness, strength, and self-sufficiency, these qualities attract. So ask yourself, will you continue to chase, exhausting your spirit for scraps of attention? Or will you step back, reclaim your dignity, and let the world come to you? Because when you stop chasing, you don't lose value, you reveal it, and that is when the begging begins. Detachment is often misunderstood. People think detachment means coldness, indifference, or not caring at all. But in Stoic philosophy, detachment means freedom. It means no longer allowing your peace of mind to depend on outcomes beyond your control. Epictetus taught, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. What others think of you, whether they text you back, whether they give you attention or not, these are things you cannot control. And yet, when you chase, you act as if your happiness depends on them. You hand them the keys to your emotions, but when you detach, you take the keys back. You say, my worth is not for you to decide. My peace is not something you can give or take away. Detachment is power because it shifts your energy inward. Instead of seeking external approval, you build internal strength. Instead of asking, do they like me? You ask, am I living with virtue? Am I proud of my own actions? That change of focus transforms everything. Here's the paradox. When you are detached, you become magnetic. People are drawn to those who do not beg for attention. Why? Because detachment signals self-sufficiency, and self-sufficiency is rare. Most people live in constant need for approval, for validation, for love. But the Stoic who is detached does not need. He chooses. He gives, but he is not emptied. He loves, but he is not enslaved. Imagine two people, one constantly texting, begging for attention, desperate to be seen. The other calm, patient, focused on his life, his work, his growth. Who do you think holds more power? Who do you think others will chase? Always the one who does not need. Because neediness pushes people away, but independence pulls them in. Detachment does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. It means you can walk away without fear. It means you are complete in yourself. And this is the power that flips the dynamic. When you are no longer desperate to be chosen, others begin to wonder why. They begin to crave the energy you no longer give freely. They begin to chase the one who no longer chases. So remember this, the moment you detach, the begging begins. Not because you manipulated, not because you played games, but because you embodied the deepest Stoic truth, that nothing external can complete you. You are already whole. We live in a world of noise. Everyone is speaking, texting, posting, trying desperately to be seen and heard. But the Stoics knew something most people have forgotten. Silence is a form of strength. Seneca said, "Silence is a lesson learned through life's many sufferings. When you chase, you fill the space with words, explanations, apologies, endless attempts to prove your worth. But when you stop chasing, when you choose silence instead, you create an energy that cannot be ignored. Silence makes people curious. It makes them wonder what you are thinking, why you are so calm, why you are not begging like everyone else. Silence is not weakness. It is not surrender. It is a declaration. I am not desperate. I do not need to explain myself. My actions and my presence speak louder than my words. And this kind of silence shakes people. Because most are addicted to constant reassurance. They expect you to beg, to plead, to keep the conversation alive. When you don't, when you go silent, the pressure shifts. They feel the weight of the absence. They start to reach out, to speak louder, to chase what they once ignored. The Stoics valued restraint. They believed wisdom was shown not in how much you say, but in how much you can endure without speaking. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily not to waste words proving what a good man should be but to be one. Silence is proof of that. A disciplined silence shows strength far louder than desperate words. And silence doesn't just affect others, it affects you. It calms your mind. It gives you space to reflect instead of react. It teaches you patience and composure. Instead of wasting energy in arguments or begging for attention, you preserve your dignity. You remain unshaken. And in that calm, you grow stronger. So, let others talk. Let them wonder. Let them fill the void with questions and noise. You stay silent, focused, and unbothered, because in silence you hold the greatest power, the power of restraint, the power of discipline, the power of mystery. And it is this silence that often flips the balance. When you stop chasing with words, they start chasing with theirs. When you stop filling the space, they rush to fill it for you. And when that happens, you realize silence was never weakness. It was the sharpest weapon you could wield. Chasing is the opposite of self-mastery. It is allowing your emotions to control you, your desires to enslave you, and your need for validation to dictate your actions. But Stoicism teaches us that the highest form of strength is self-mastery, the ability to control your mind, your impulses, your reactions. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. When you chase, you surrender that power. You let outside events, someone, attention, someone's opinion determine your inner state. But when you practice self-mastery, you take that power back. You say, "I control my mind. I decide my worth. I will not beg for what should come freely." Self-mastery means learning to endure discomfort without breaking. It means choosing discipline over desperation. It means reminding yourself every day, what I need, I already have within me. When you live this way, validation loses its grip. You no longer wake up craving someone's message. You no longer measure your value by someone's response. You stand firm, rooted in yourself. And here lies the paradox once again. When you no longer seek validation, you begin to attract respect. People notice when you are grounded, when you are disciplined, when you do not beg for attention. They sense the strength in your silence, the dignity in your restraint. And suddenly, those who once ignored you are drawn to you. Not because you chased them, but because you mastered yourself. Self-mastery also redirects your energy. Instead of wasting hours chasing someone, you build yourself. You train your mind, strengthen your body, grow your character. And as you rise, people cannot help but notice. Your growth becomes magnetic. Your discipline becomes admirable. And this natural magnetism is far more powerful than any form of chasing. So ask yourself, will you let your emotions control you, or will you control them? Will you waste energy seeking validation, or will you cultivate self-mastery? Because the moment you master yourself, the world begins to shift. And those who once ignored you will come running back, not because you begged, but because you embodied true strength. One of the deepest truths of human nature is this: we rarely value what is always available. We take for granted what is constant, but the moment it disappears, we feel its weight. This is why when you stop chasing, people suddenly begin to notice your value. The Stoics practiced negative visualization, imagining the loss of what they had, so they would never take it for granted. Epictetus advised, "Never say about anything, 'I have lost it,' but only 'I have returned it.'" This practice helped them remember the fragility of life and relationships. Similarly, when you step back, when you stop chasing, others experience your absence, and absence has power. Think of how a song becomes meaningful after it ends, how a person's presence is felt most strongly when they leave. Your absence creates space for reflection. People begin to notice what they once overlooked. They recall the consistency you offered, the support you gave, the energy you brought, and slowly, regret creeps in. They realize they undervalued what was rare. This is why chasing destroys value. When you constantly throw yourself at others, they never have the chance to feel your absence. They never stop to wonder, what if they were gone? But when you stop chasing, when you withdraw your energy, you allow them to experience life without you. And in that emptiness, your value grows. Absence teaches others what presence never could. It teaches them how much you mattered, how much they relied on your strength, how much your presence meant, even if they never admitted it before. And in that realization, the begging begins. They come back, not because you chased, but because you stepped away. So don't fear absence, don't fear pulling back, don't fear silence. Absence is not loss, it is power. It is the quiet teacher that reveals value in ways constant presence never could. Remember, when you stop chasing, your absence speaks louder than your presence ever did. At the heart of Stoicism lies one ultimate principle. Your life is your own. You were not born to live for the approval of others. You were born to live in accordance with virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. Chasing violates this principle. It makes you live for them, not for you. Marcus Aurelius warned, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." When you chase, you care more about what they think than what you know to be true. You sacrifice your time, your dignity, your purpose, just to be chosen. But Stoicism reminds you, you already have everything you need within you. Living for yourself does not mean selfishness. It means aligning your actions with your own values. It means focusing on your growth, your discipline, your purpose. When you stop chasing others, you redirect that energy into building yourself. You rise in strength, in character, in wisdom. And as you rise, people notice. They respect the one who walks his own path. They admire the one who does not beg, but builds. Here lies the final paradox. When you stop living for others, when you stop chasing their approval, that is when they start chasing yours. Because true power is not in being liked, it is in being unshaken. True strength is not in being chosen, it is in choosing yourself. So live for yourself, build your empire, guard your peace, embody the virtues of Stoicism. And as you do, you will see the truth of this philosophy. When you stop chasing, you don't just gain freedom, you gain respect, you gain dignity, and yes, you gain the attention of those who once ignored you. But by then, you will have learned the greatest lesson of all. You no longer need their begging, because you were never chasing them. You were chasing yourself, and you finally caught who you were meant to be.